Welcome to Bullets, Pickler Wealth Advised monthly market update, where each month we break down the major economic and political activities happening in our world. No frills, no jargon, just the facts. Did you know? Each month we try to highlight a unique piece of trivia that we think is appropriate for the month. In the month of May, we're going to target Mother's Day. On May 9th, 1914, President Woodrow Wilson issued a presidential proclamation officially establishing the first National Mother's Day holiday to honor America's mothers. By 1911, several states had already begun celebrating Mother's Day. But it wasn't until 1914, after Wilson advocated to Congress, that Mother's Day was formally designated to occur on the second Sunday of each May. First thing, let's look back. When we recorded our bullets for April, we talked about the fact that looking forward, we anticipate this would be a market that was all going to be about data, all about information. And certainly we were concerned about what might be the impact of rising inflationary pressures and rising interest rates. And absolutely that is what happened. As a result of concerns over those rising interest rates and rising inflation, we did see a significant market pullback, about 5%. And you might say, wow, is this the beginning of the end of the market? But actually, if you look at the history of markets over the past 40 years, market pullbacks are normal parts of market activity. In fact, on average, in any given year, you could expect to have 3 to 4 market pullbacks of 4 to 5%. Additionally, you also expect to have at least one market correction of approximately 10% per year. Despite these pullbacks, markets tend to average growing by about 9% per year. Once again, it's all about time in the market, not about time in the market. Because what we found is that over time, markets continue to deliver outstanding results. If you look at this chart here, you will see the history of the market since the Great Depression. And you'll see that slow, steady, consistent performance by the markets over time. Yes, pullbacks happen. Yes, even down years happen. But over time, markets deliver outstanding results. One of the major elements of market performance is corporate earnings, profits. This is what really is the essence of where you see what happens to cause stocks to go higher in the longer term. As we go forward with this earnings season and move into the month of May, these earnings will really be the basis for what we believe will be a continuation of very strong economic growth. In fact, if you take a look at where we have been, in April, we saw a report for the first quarter of growth, and it showed that our economy continued to move forward with a first quarter growth of about 1.6%, slightly down from the robust 3.4% growth that we saw in the fourth quarter, but still solid, sustainable growth. This growth was propelled by very resilient and very robust consumer spending. We saw consumer spending in the first quarter continue to grow at around 2.5% annualized, as well as business growth spending around 3.2%. We believe this combination of robust and resilient consumer spending and robust business spending will continue to propel our economy forward as we go forward. As we move forward in the month of May, then we're going to be really watching three things. First will be a Fed watch. The Federal Reserve will be meeting on the first couple of days of May, and we'll always be watching to see what sort of temperament that we're seeing coming out of the Fed officials. Will it be more hawkish? Will it be, a continuation of a policy towards a slight degree of easing in terms of monetary policy? Everyone is still trying to anticipate when the Fed may begin to change policy and actually begin cutting interest rates. At this point, it might happen in July, it might happen in September, it might not happen until December, or maybe not even at all. The real key here is that the Fed is looking for evidence that inflation is making substantial progress towards that 2% target. And so we'll be watching very closely from the Fed standpoint. The second thing we'll be watching for is inflation. During the month of May, we will continue to see data the CPI, Consumer Price Index data. This gives us a very good idea of are we making progress towards getting that inflation numbers down to that 2% target. We also will be looking at the PPI, the Producer Price Index, which gives a good idea of, if you would, the wholesale prices. And then finally, the Fed's most favored tool, which is the PCE, or Personal Consumption Expenditures, which is the broadest measure of inflation. And this is the one that, quite frankly, is the most important in understanding the direction the Fed may be going and hopefully eventually moving to a place where we'll be looking at the Fed cutting interest rates and beginning to stimulate the economy as opposed to taking the restrictive stance they are now, which has been used to fight inflation. The third and final area we'll be watching will be earnings. We'll be continuing the first quarter earnings season, which has so far found robust earnings growth. We certainly will be looking for both the technology leaders as well as all of the 500 stocks in the S&P 500 to ensure that they are continuing to see earnings that are exceeding expectations and continue to propel growth in our economy. One of the favorite segments that I have in our monthly Bullets conversation are our presidential quotes. This month we turn to our 43rd president, George W. Bush. And George Bush said very eloquently in talking about the mothers of America. He said, by providing a nurturing environment where their children can grow in confidence and character, mothers lay the foundation for the next generation of Americans to realize their full potential. Well said, President Bush. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Bullets. Until next time, remember, here at Pickler Wealth Advisors, it's our family delivering solutions for your family. This is our purpose. Together we plan. Until next time, I'm David Pickler, and these are Market Bullets. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you.